you are living in a city like Delhi, Mumbai, New York, Paris, big cities with so much population density, if you're living in a city like that, you know how the life is, right? Like with the traffic and the crowd and how everything is handled there. So would you be interested, like, would it be nice if there are only like tomorrow morning, there are only 50% of the people in the New York City or Delhi city or Mumbai or Bengaluru. So if the population, if the number of people, whatever it is today, if tomorrow morning or the next week, there are only 50% of the people only there, how would you feel? Can you imagine? And see for yourself on a busy working day. If there was only half the traffic, there was only half the people on the roads, wherever you go, whatever you deal with, you only get to see the 50% of the people that you are usually seeing. How would you really feel? I'm sure you must have come across this during some holidays when people have moved away from the cities, or sometime at least 1 or 2 days in a year, you might have felt this. Oh, it's so nice to drive in this road like this. It's so nice not to have such long queues in some places, and in your parks, not so crowded. You have some peacefulness and serenity when you walk in the park without so much of crowd. This feeling that you feel really good about it when we are less crowded, right? And it cannot happen. It can only happen in our fantasy that 50% of the people disappear tomorrow morning or next week or so. But don't you think if this is going to be a great experience, it's a good way to live, if we are only 50% of the people or less crowded in the cities like this. If it can be a very nice atmosphere, very nice air, quality of the air is good, you get better water and quality of water and access, you have more connection with the nature, and if it can be really good, why don't we have a plan to get there? That is the question. So what we are aspiring, like what we really enjoy is a less crowded and less polluted atmosphere in our cities, which is like moving this direction. And what we are actually doing is we are consistently working to increase the crowd, like we are adding more and more buildings, more and more layers of buildings, more and more layers of roads above and beneath, the roads below the ground, above the ground, and multiple levels of roads and buildings and everything we are creating. That is only like you are increasing the suffocation, like moving this direction and increasing the suffocation, right? But we don't enjoy this already, and we are further increasing the suffocation and all kinds of odds, all kinds of problems. So we are all together in this game, in this work of creating the disaster for ourselves on a daily basis, right? Our governments are involved, and bureaucrats, and the businesses, and the people, individuals, and everybody, all of us are contributing to this, that we are only contributing to the problem, increasing the everyday problem. And all the cosmetic solutions, you see why I call cosmetic solutions? Adding more houses, adding more layers of houses, more layers of roads and bridges, and adding new methods of introducing new rail systems or metros or subways, or these are all like what? Is it like cosmetic solution to the existing problem? Like it's not that you create all these things. Now today there are like 20 million people in a city like Delhi, then tomorrow you want to accommodate like another 10 million people. You want to make 30 million people live in Delhi, and that is what we are working towards, isn't it? And it is so. Like it was 10 million people some years ago, and now it is 20 million people. So actually we worked towards that, creating the problems, making the problem bigger and bigger. So the important problem about this is the governments and the people, and together we as a human community lack the necessary planning to look forward long enough. We have a very short-sighted vision that we only think in terms of how to survive today, the next week, or then this month and this year. Our governments maximum think how to survive for the next 2-3 years, so that there will be next elections. So this is a big problem, that we lack the long-term vision, and what we really know, what is that core of the life really likes, or how the core of the life can unfold naturally is by having less number of people, less crowded, and less roads, and less of everything, right? More of nature. And we don't have any plans for that. We are like everybody busy moving this direction, increasing the problem, on the name of like constructing, creating new facilities and roads and stuffs, and like deceiving ourselves, deceiving our own human beings, we ourselves were in the deceiving mode and living like that. Now for a couple of centuries or more, we have been on this mode of. But if we imagine if cities like New York, Paris, Delhi, Bengaluru, Mumbai, and cities like this have a plan, maybe it cannot happen in 1 year or 2 years, but if it is definitely possible, if they set up this target, like, okay, in 25 years or 20 years, we are going to like make the city less crowded. Today, you are 20 million people in the city or 50 million people in the city, and you're setting a target for yourself, like we are going to make it like 50% in the next 20 years. Obviously, everything will fall in line. You will plan everything accordingly. Now, the road building, the construction, and the buildings and everything. How many people want to come in? How many new businesses want to come into the city? So, if you have a policy, if you have a plan like this, agreed plan like this, definitely, businesses would want to come and invest where the city has a plan not to bring in more people, more facilities, and the systems won't allow you. So naturally, they will find and spread out in other places, right? So this is such a very simple planning, simple thing, simple little bit of a longer vision if you have. But now the governments are like acting as vested interest of businesses, and they are like compelled to provide. Everybody wants to just have like immediate benefits, and nobody thinks about like beyond like 4 or 5 years. And it seems nobody even bothered about their own children's, how they are going to survive and what kind of atmosphere we are building for them. Like when we were children, what kind of atmosphere we had, and how we have already spoiled the environment like anything in the last 50 years or 60 years or 30 years, whatever your age may be, and what kind of environment you are handing over to your children. So this is something that we need to think, and all of us need to act. And I hope this kind of message spreads all across, and we may not be able to immediately act something on it, but at least we need to spread this kind of information so that all of us are in the same page, all of us have this thought process going that we need to be less crowded, and that is what is creating great feeling, right? So let's spread this information, and if the information goes across the people, and it eventually, because governments are nothing but us, the people. So if all of us bring in this awareness that we need to become less crowded on this planet, and how to become less crowded, we'll continue in the next series of talks.